SiriusXM 80 and the ESPN app. You can be a part of Unsportsmanlike Nation on the Dr. Pepper call-in line at 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. ESPN Nation presented by Dr. Pepper. It's not college football season without the delicious taste of an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. College football, it's a pepper thing. The call heard here on ESPN Radio, as all World Series games will be, and there will be a Game 5 tonight with the coverage starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. The Yankees beat the Dodgers last night 11-4. Fan interference, bad base running, early homers for Freddie Freeman did not matter. Along with Chris Canty, Evan Cohen with you, Michelle Smallman back with us tomorrow, and you could breathe for at least one day, CC, as a Yankee fan here with a big win last night.
Yeah, it's good to not get swept in this series, and now that we've got Garrett Cole on the mound in Game 5, I'm hoping that they can get it back to L.A. just for the sake of not allowing the Dodgers to be able to celebrate in the Bronx. I don't want them to be able to celebrate a championship on our home field. So the fact that they were able to get one, that's great. We'll see what ends up happening, but no team that's gone down 3-0 in the World Series has been able to force a Game 6, so the Yankees would have to buck history in order to make that happen.
Right. I hope people heard what CC just said. Forget winning down 3-0. Nobody's gotten to a Game 6. 24 teams have been down 3-0. 21 were swept. 3 got to a Game 5. Yeah. Or got to a Game 5. That's it. Mm-hmm. Now the Yankees get to a Game 5 with the 11-4 victory last night. Freddie Freeman did have a fourth home run in a row. It's just,
Dear God in heaven.
Don't pitch to him, right?
It is a recurring nightmare with Freddie Freeman. He's like he's like Michael Myers, for God's sakes. He's that character that you just can't kill. No matter what you do, he just keeps coming back over and over and over again. Stop pitching to him. It's 6 straight World Series games with a home run for this dude dating back to his time with the Braves. Just stop it already. Yep. I'm tired of seeing it. Like short porches, the stadium was built for Freddie Freeman in his swing.
Literally, like it's a lefty swing like that is why that stadium is what it is.
So I'm just, I like that is the one thing that I hope that Aaron Boone has some type of game plan that he can come up with to neutralize what Freddie Freeman has been able to do, because the guy has been the offense for the Dodgers.
No question. Hits the early home run, but it ultimately does not matter because after an awful decision base running wise by Anthony Volpe, who did not score on a play that he should have scored on. He comes back a couple of innings later, hits a grand slam for the Yankees that if you're a believer that maybe this series can turn somehow, some way, you're saying there's a chance. That's the moment that Anthony Volpe hits that grand slam. They go up 5-2 in that spot after being down 2-1. They have home runs later in the game by Austin Wells, their catcher, Gleyber Torres for the Yankees. Aaron Judge does have an RBI single, 10-4 in the last inning, or last at bat, for him. And, if you want to say something from that, like maybe he gets going here. Mm-hmm. But I give you credit, but I'm surprised. I give you credit for not coming in today and all of a sudden trying to spin it that the Yankees are going to win this series.
No, I mean, the Yankees were supposed to win last night. It was a bullpen game for Dave Roberts, and with the Anthony Volpe grand slam relatively early in that game, that allowed him to use his B and C relievers, so the Yankees should put up big offensive numbers. They should score a lot of runs, which I give them credit for. They actually did. But the reality is that was always going to be a little bit dicey for the Dodgers, just because how often do you see a team turn to 6 relievers and all of those guys have their best stuff when they come out of the pen? Just doesn't happen. It's hard for that to play out in a positive, especially on that stage with that level of intensity. So, yeah, I think the Dodgers understood that the Yankees were backed into a corner and they came out swinging, literally and figuratively. But by no means am I looking at what happened in Game 4 and saying that the Yankees actually have a chance to win this series, even though they're technically still alive.
The last thing on earth I want to do here is try to change your mind as a Mets fan, but I do have something that maybe can get you going here.
Okay, I'm listening.
All right. Remember the Red Sox 20 years ago had the rallying cry, the cowboy up, the idiots when they came back 3-0 against the Yankees? Not that you want to relive that as a Yankee fan,
no.
But sometimes you need that rallying cry. You need something that's like a unifying thing. The Mets had OMG. Right? Now, they didn't obviously get to the World Series, but Grimace, they needed something.
Yeah.
Maybe Austin Wells last night, your catcher, with Buster Olney here on ESPN Radio, maybe he gave you a little rallying cry in terms of a term, and you'll notice it because he doesn't stop using it, that he used here on ESPN Radio last night.
You slammed a Titanic home run. Take me through that.
Yeah, I mean, just went in today, just said screw it, just have fun and see what happens, and got some good pitches to hit.
What was the conversation among you guys going into this game 4 down 3-0?
Screw it, honestly. Like, we didn't really talk much about it. It was like we just knew we had to come out here and get one, and if we get one tomorrow. So we didn't really talk much about it, but knew what we had to do.
What do you think the conversation will be going into tomorrow's game?
Screw it. Got to do it again tonight or tomorrow night. So we're just trying to keep playing baseball, and we do that by winning. So
screw it, and screw it. Rallying cry?
Well, I mean,
I mean, you need something. You got to win last night.
Yeah, and you heard some of the guys say that the reality is that there will be players that are on the roster right now that won't ever get a chance to get back to the World Series. So go ahead and enjoy this moment. Screw it. There's nothing to lose. And I get that mentality, right? You're down 3-0. History is against you. Everything's working against you. You're going up against the best team in baseball. It allows you to go out there and play carefree. I think that's really what he's trying to convey right there. And baseball is that strange game, man. I've said this before, where when you try harder, you actually don't do better, you do worse. And so maybe there's a little bit of pressure taken off. Certainly I felt like that with Aaron Judge being able to get a hit late in that game. The pressure was off him just because of what the score was and how many guys had already broken through. You had Volpe with a big home run. You had Austin Wells with a couple of big hits. Should have been a triple instead of a double, but that's neither here nor there. Bad base running by Volpe, but he redeemed himself. I think that what it comes down to is them being more disciplined when it comes to their approach, and when they get those mistakes, making sure that they don't miss them, making sure that they don't take those pitches, making sure that they swing the bat. That has been the biggest difference. The Dodgers lineup, when they get mistakes from Yankees pitchers, they don't miss them. Freddie Freeman doesn't miss them. That's the Mookie Betts doesn't miss them. That has been the biggest difference in this series. And so now you're starting to see some of these Yankees hitters take advantage of the mistakes that they're getting from the Dodgers pitchers, and they got to continue to do that. But it starts with being able to have a good approach. It starts with being able to control the zone. And last night we got that from everybody in the lineup, including Aaron Judge, which is a good sign.
All right, so before we get to the drama here that occurred with fans, Nuno, you are a Yankee fan. CC is unbelievably realistic in what's going on. Fair, measured, great analysis, and honest. Are you that way, or are you ready to just be absurd and say, screw it, the Yankees will be the one team unlike the 24 that have been down 3-0? So
I want to be, fanned, like, let's go. We have Garrett Cole on the mound, but the problem is then I look at the numbers that are great stats and info group puts together, and I'm like, they have no shot in hell to extend this. Garrett Cole, 2-4 in 6 when his team is facing elimination. He's given up 8 home runs in those games. Obviously, the last 6 home teams have lost in the World Series have lost game 5. Games 5. So all history right now is against the Yankees. So I'm like, we get one more game. We get another, we get to talk about it one more day. I'm kind of like that.
Wow.
Yeah. And tomorrow we'll be having, and thanks to our, because they always accuse us of stealing their content. So Joe and Carlin versus Joe were talking about this yesterday, and I think it'll be a fair conversation when the Yankees are eliminated. Aaron Judge, Lamar Jackson, and Joel Embiid, like, which one's been the worst in big playoff moments?
Well, Joel Embiid's never played in a big playoff moment.
Right.
Aaron Judge is in the World Series. Lamar Jackson was the AFC title game against Kansas City. Joel Embiid so far this season has been fined, or because of him has been fined, has had a tech, and has had an investigation with 0 games played.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not compare. Let's not put Embiid in that conversation.
No,
I'm sorry.
not at all.
I'm sorry. All right.
Disrespectful to the other two.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The other part of this last night, in the first inning of this game, Mookie Betts goes and tries to catch a ball in foul territory, and 2 fans, I mean, I don't know how to say this other than, like, attack him almost. And I don't mean attack like on, like a God forbid, on the street kind of thing.
No, they attacked him. That's the right
I
word.
thought this was so over the top.
He tried to pull his glove back, and they wouldn't let him.
And so one guy's grabbing the glove, trying to rip it open. The other guy grabs his arm. I mean, I asked Nuno on my way in this morning. I said, hey, I didn't see the latest on this. Were these 2 arrested? And he said no. And that may come off like arrested, well, kicked out of the stadium, obviously. But yeah, like they're grabbing up. You can't just grab a person randomly like this.
But they've got his arm and his glove bent over the wall. So anything can happen.
Hurt his wrist.
He could hurt his wrist. He could hurt his elbow. You could hurt his hand. And in baseball, you do everything with your hands. So that could have ended terribly for the Dodgers and for Mookie Betts. And to say that this guy's only punishment is going to be getting kicked out in Game 4, but he's free to return to Yankee Stadium in Game 5?
How is that possible?
It's absolutely egregious.
So these two are going to be there?
It's a miss by the Yankees. Yeah, apparently.
Well, now they're celebrities, obviously.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, and the guy, Capo Bianco, he's straight out of central casting of the guy that you would expect in the outfield for the Yankee Stadium. Like it's just, it's absolutely ridiculous that they're going to let him back in the Yankee Stadium. Like, I get it. Like, we haven't had a World Series in the Bronx in 15 years, but at least act like you've been there.
Oh, my
Display
God.
a little bit of class as a Yankees fan. We got 27 championships. That's not how you're supposed to behave. That's not appropriate. And here's the deal. I get that you want to say, hey, I'm trying to help my team. You're not helping your team. The ump still called it an out. It's fan interference. So there was no win outside of your 5 minutes of fame. So what exactly is the point?
And these are the Yankees. Like, I'm going to hold your championships and your perceived class against you here.
Yeah.
You can't allow these two to come back the next game. And you know they're going to try to show up tonight because everyone's now going to know who they are. You're the Yankees. They need if you don't want to ban them for life, at least ban them for the rest of the season. So next year, we're not going to think about these guys.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Tonight, we're going to look for them.
You got 2 more games potentially at Yankee Stadium. They should not be allowed in there. They should be done. You can't be at the World Series the rest of the way. Fine.
I agree with you.
It could end tonight. Who knows? But I'm just saying.
No, you're right.
Even if the
Everything
Yankees
you're saying.
extend the series, okay, you can't be a part of this anymore. You have forfeited that right to do that. So I can't believe that the Yankees are just giving these guys a slap on the wrist and saying, hey, you got to get out today, but you can come back tomorrow.
That's ridiculous.
Because you're not doing anything to deter that type of behavior from them or from other fans.
Totally agree with you. Totally. And I'm sorry. Like, tonight, World Series game number 5 is going to be taking place. We'll have all the coverage on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern. The cameras are going to be looking for these two tonight. You know, when on the Fox broadcast, I don't know that they're going to show them, but there's definitely going to be people outside of the stadium that's going to interview them. It's social media. Like, everyone's a reporter today. These guys should not be centerpieces of the coverage tonight, and they're going to be. How you could allow them back is beyond comprehension. I'm not suggesting these guys need to go to jail for life. I'm not suggesting they need to be banned for life. I'm suggesting don't have them back in Game 5 of the World Series. That's not like a bold statement.
I just hate that the Yankees organization is playing the results on this one because Mookie Betts is fine and because it wasn't out, that all's well end well, let's go on and play on. I don't like that just because I know what could have potentially happened.
1,000%
You could be
correct.
talking about Mookie Betts getting hurt.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Unsportsmanlike is presented by Progressive Keys to Progress program, providing cars to veterans in need. Coming up, Adam Schefter said there is a seismic shift with one NFL team. We will explain which team that is and what they did. Coming up next, it's Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio.
With one hard-fought win under their belt, the Yankees have shown that they're not backing down yet. Last night was a reminder of the team's resilience and the electric energy only the Bronx can bring. Let's keep this momentum alive and see if they can make history by forcing another game. The stakes are high and the team's passion is higher. If you're a true fan, don't miss a moment. Hit that subscribe button and join us in cheering them on for Game 5 tonight. Let's go, Yankees.